ones to save themselves or someone else stop? What's the one that stands out to you most?
Wow, good question. You know, the one that stands out to me most, I think, there's a couple of them. One was actually at a university. Did y'all hear about that one? It was at a law school.
Appalachian.
Here we go. Why don't y'all tell them about it? Okay, in a nutshell, and I may screw the story up slightly, okay, but a gunman, lone gunman, comes into a room, starts shooting, I think, or at least threatening. No, he started shooting, and two separate people, unbeknownst to each other, were able to run out to their parking lot and retrieve their long guns, their rifles that were in their vehicles illegally, and were able to come back and take this guy out. I don't think they killed him, though. I think they never even shot. Okay, gotta love that. Well, my regret is at the Virginia Tech that Holocaust survivor, that professor, didn't have one on his head. Yes, sir.
There was a school in Texas 2 or 3 years ago that was going to advocate for its teachers.
Harold Independent School District. Okay, I actually had, this is a few years ago while I was still in the legislature, I had a couple of superintendents come to me from the outer portion of my school district. And they said, we got a problem. We have a real high number of foster kids that were higher risk children in general. You know, there were some of them that had issues, I'll put it that way. And they said, you know, we're out in the hinterlands, and they only had 2 deputies, okay, deputy sheriffs, for the entire county. One was on duty at any given time. And they told me, they said, you know, we timed it, and if the sheriff happens to be on the other end of the county, it's a 45-minute drive. They said, if anything ever happens, it's up to us. So we want the ability to be able to quietly be able to carry legally a gun and not lose our jobs over it. So I filed the bill, it got all kinds of national media attention, but oddly enough, during the committee process, we discovered that there was some people would say a glitch in current Texas law that allows, and it was worded really poorly, it was something like the head of a school can give you written permission to carry a weapon on campus. Well, we're looking at this going, who's the head of a school? I don't know. I don't know that there's a definition for that. Is it the principal? Is it the superintendent? And is it the president of the school board? I don't know who the head of the school is. So I told them, I said, you know what? We know this isn't going to pass right now. This has been 10 years ago. And I said, if it were me, I'd write myself a note and shut up and carry it. You know, the law's on your side. Well, of course, shortly after that, the Harold School District, which is up in northeast Texas, small school district, they discovered that law. And once again, it was big national news. The Harold School District got a little extra training for any of their teachers or staff that wanted to be able to carry on campus. And some of them carried. So, and I bet you they never have a problem. I have literally testified for Congress. I've testified in front of probably 30 state legislatures. I hear the same arguments everywhere I go. Oh, it's going to be blood in the streets. They said it here. And the facts and the statistics don't bear that out. Now, I will tell you this. It will not, carrying a gun in here is not going to keep somebody from walking in that door and shooting.
Oh, I disagree.
Okay? Potentially. I don't think it's going to prevent somebody from coming in and trying to be stupid and firing off a couple of rounds. But are you going to have 15, 20, 30 body bags? You just won't. We used to laugh even before we technically allowed concealed carry in the Capitol. There were so many of those legislators that were on the House floor. You know, we'd be on the House floor. And a lot of these guys, it ticked me off because a lot of them voted against concealed carry, but they carried illegally. And we'd be on the House floor, and, you know, we used to look up in the gallery. I'm sure most of you have been to the Capitol at one point or another. We look up in the gallery, and typically there's like 2 Capitol Police. And we always thought, man, if somebody wanted literally a shooting gallery, all they'd have to do is come in here and pop those 2 Capitol Police, and we'd be in trouble. But then everybody would kind of laugh because the guy would be so full of holes before he could do any, he's gonna get a couple, but he's not getting many. It's just not. It's not gonna prevent the estranged husband from offing his wife, you know, it's not gonna prevent that. It might make a difference if she's prepared, you know, it might make a difference, but the element of surprise can still get it. So, go ahead.
Do you support CHL on all campuses or just colleges?
No, I support,
Like from kindergarten, elementary
this,
school?
to me, this is a no-brainer. I support what's called the Vermont style carry. Basically, in the state of Vermont and Alaska and somewhat to Arizona now, although they have a few little quirks in their law, they basically say, you know what, we believe in your Second Amendment here. And so if you're of age, if you're 21 or older, and you are not a felon, and basically if you can vote, you can carry. They don't care if you walk in and you tape it on your forehead and walk down the hall. They don't care. And you know what? They don't have any problems. They don't have any problems with it. It's not the gun. It's just not. So,
But I mean, you have any place that you feel
that I think it should.
guns should not be allowed? Any place generally that we have so many places in Texas where you still can't carry it.
Yeah, I know, and I hate that because I think what you've done is create a shopping list for a madman. I mean, again, if I want to kill a bunch of people, I'm not going to walk into the gun show. I'm going to walk in where guns aren't allowed. I mean, I've got to tell you, in speeches in the past, one thing that I've always said to the media and everything, I've said, name me one place where a mass shooting has occurred where guns were allowed. But you know what? I can't say that now because of the Arizona, the Tucson shooting recently. But that's bugged me. I got to tell you, that's really bugged me. I thought, how could it be that this outdoor event in Arizona where they can carry concealed or they can carry openly, how could it be that that guy got that many shots off? Now I'm really going to tick some of you off. I have one answer to that. By the way, one of the guys that stopped it was a concealed carry guy, and he was in the Walgreens next door. He came running over, okay? He was prepared to help stop it. But beyond that, how did this guy get off 30 shots without somebody taking him out? And I have one answer to that. You ready? Can anybody guess what my answer is going to be?
It was a Democratic meeting.
It was a friggin' Democratic meeting. They don't believe in your Second Amendment rights. Nobody there had their concealed carry. Nobody had a gun. And that's terrible for me to think that. Listen, I've got, this almost sounds like a racial thing, you know, where you go, well, I got good friends that are black. No, I have good friends that are Democrats. But I honestly believe that is the reason nobody stopped this guy's son. Had it been a Republican or a Tea Party or a Libertarian group, I think the guy would have been knocked out after the second shot. I honestly believe that. But I'm pretty pragmatic. I've gotten in trouble with the Libertarians in the past for that. But I mean, I got to tell you guys, if I could wave a magic wand, I mean, I'm about as libertarian as they come, but I am very pragmatic. And so I'm a believer, and really, seriously, I've gotten into some trouble over this. I'm a believer in anytime, any chance I have to move the bar, I'm going to move the bar. Now, I'll file the Vermont style carry, knowing darn well I'm not going to pass it, talking 10 years ago, okay? But it helps educate the other legislators and the media that this exists. A lot of them don't even realize that exists. You know, oh, what? Not license somebody? Oh my gosh. Okay? So I'll file the Vermont style carry as an educational tool, but then I'll do the little things along the way, like 18 and over if you're active duty military, and university carry, things like that. So I nibble away. Yes, sir.
Typical question, how do you address the paranoia with regards to campus carry about professors and classmates being scared about pissing off somebody who carries? Because, you know, one of the biggest objections,
Well, you would be stupid to piss somebody off with carrying.
Yeah, right. Number one rule of gun control. But you have all these professors, you know, logical or not, is a completely separate issue from the emotional argument of they're going to be extremely scared of failing a student,
Yeah.
especially if they know that student carries on campus. How would you address that from the emotional standpoint?
You're right. There's absolutely no logic involved in that. A student that's going to pick up a gun and go kill their professor, the laws right now aren't going to prevent that. I mean, what do we have on the books right now that would prevent that? Yeah, so he's going to obey a law that says you can't carry on campus, but he's going to disobey the law that says thou shalt not murder. You know, there's just no logic. And so frankly, it's kind of hard for me to argue with folks like that because there is no logic to it. Shortly after the shooting that occurred with my family, that December, I remember seeing a little article in the paper. My sister showed it to me, and it was an article about a brother that killed his brother. Two men. He killed his brother, and it was some, overly passionate argument. He killed his brother with a Christmas tree stand. It was December 12th or something, and a Christmas tree stand was there, and he bludgeoned his brother to death with this Christmas tree stand. And my sister made the comment, as dreadful as that is, had there been the Christmas tree stand and a gun, which one would he pick up? More than likely, he'd pick up the gun because it is a more effective tool. But had he used the gun, that little article would have been front or second page, because all of a sudden it's the gun that did it. This crime of passion, and crimes of passion have been occurring since before Caesar's day. But all of a sudden now it's the gun. Thank y'all very much for having me.